I like the step on repeat.
Thank you. Look at this, guys. I got this for Aaron. I set this up for Aaron, not Dave Castro. I set this up for Aaron.
I love it. It's great.
So if you have not met Aaron, Aaron has joined us now about 2 months now.
I think this is month 3.
3.
Yeah.
All right, 3 months. And I'm going to kind of just let Aaron speak to what you want to share right now in your journey and kind of share how you found Babylon CrossFit. Because the interesting thing about Aaron is he's had CrossFit experience before. Mm-hmm. He's had a great coach before, someone I actually know. And, you know, we're trying... See you later. We're trying to
This is what we love about Babylon CrossFit. This is it.
We've got the door community. Open. He's dying. I have to give him fresh air. Just like, we're going to share a lot of Aaron's journey. He's willing. We're working through a lot of things. We're ramping up. And I'm going to let him speak, see what he's going to open the gates to, and then I'll take it from there with some follow-up questions.
All right. Sounds good. I feel like I'm shy.
I feel like you have to introduce yourself because people don't know you.
Hi. Hi.
I fucking love you.
This is me. I'm Aaron, Aaron. Nice to virtually meet all of you wherever you're at. A little bit about me is I'm an educator. I'm a math teacher by trade. Right now, I'm the coordinator of mathematics and business, soon to be transitioning into going back to school to get my PhD in math. I tend to love math and like education. I like to learn. I love watching people learn. Sorry, I'm like sweating because someone over here made me do.
Tommy did. He's just not here. It's Tommy's
made me do some Murph prep, which I'm very excited to do for the first time. As Trish said, I did CrossFit before. What did we have? What was that thing that we were in? Oh, the pandemic.
The pandemic.
Yeah. So before the pandemic, I was into CrossFit. I had a great coach. Went to a great facility. And then the pandemic hit and I just got back into eating. And really, honestly, I think the biggest thing is like through the pandemic, I struggled is really what the truth is. So
as did a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
It's a common theme for most people.
It was like intense, like, and it wasn't just the like struggling with being alone. I've always struggled with food. I think me personally, so I grew up like different. And what I mean by different is I always knew, I think in the back of my head, and sorry to any ex-girlfriend that might be watching this, and I think everybody always knew that I was different. And I knew that I was gay at like a very, very young age. And I think what I tried to do to,
take it, go.
What I
go. You keep going.
No, okay, no. See, this is what's great. See, this community, we all work together. I knew from a young age that I was different, and because I was different, I felt like I needed to like overcompensate. And I think low-key food became my my hiding place. It's like what I did to like make myself feel better. And like, you know, just little by little, I started what my therapist and I call anesthetizing with food. And I think I've come like a very, very long way in like the journey of coming into self. And I think my final frontier is nutrition. So back in January, I made a goal with one of my buddies that I do some accountability coaching with every Sunday. I was like, you know, this is going to be the year that I focus on the health quadrant of my life. And I was like, I'm going to get back into it. And I was workshopping 2 gyms that are relatively close to each other, like 2 different goals. And I said, you know what, I'm just going to come to Babylon CrossFit. And I like fell in love with Trish, the team. This place is very much so like a family. So naturally, after being here for a month, I was like, Trish, like, I'm still struggling. I want some help, and I really want help with nutrition. I happen to like fried chicken, which I had last night. But I mean, she knows I had it, but and that's not me being stereotypical. And Camilla, if you are fucking watching this, I want excuse my friend. Sorry for cursing. Do not pass judgment.
I'm gonna send it to you, Camilla, so that way you can send him a text and please help a friend out. Yeah, but I think the cool thing, so part of the reason we want to share Aaron's journey is because, like, one, he's open to sharing it. Also, because of his impact in his community and education and the struggles you had as a kid, I think that's something as in our community too, like as adults, and we have a lot of parents here. Like, I have a gay brother. He's still here.
Still alive, everyone.
He's still here. And I watched my brother struggle in a different way. And I think it's something, again, for me as a mom, right? Like no matter what Jaden chooses, like I just want to make sure that he has an outlet and feel supported.
Yep.
And that's also like what's cool now further on. Like thankfully you guys have created this space for hopefully younger kids, hopefully continue not to struggle coming out. Right. But I think that like dialing into that why for him and you sharing this with our community, and like part of the reason he's sharing this is because he doesn't just want Tommy and I support. He wants everyone to rally behind him. And also we want to open the conversation that if there's anybody else out there, like this is what we're about. And trying to really dial into what it is, right? He's done the hard work before. And that's something like, you know, I've told him, I was like, I'm not going to tell you to like eliminate things right away. I really want to get to know your eating habits. So like, that's what we did this week. He tracked his food for the week. Yes, he had fried chicken last night. Yes, I saw it. We're going to work through it. But he also made other changes. He did good things. Like you focus on the bad, right?
I did, right.
Yeah,
True.
right?
And I think that's also the biggest struggle too is, and I'm doing this like mindfulness workshop where, because and I don't know, maybe yours too, like my natural go-to is to focus on the negative, right? So like, for example, we just did this beautiful workout. I completed it probably faster than I thought I would complete it. But in my head, I'm like, oh, that run was sloppy, right? I'm not focused on the fact that, oh, I showed up, right? In the beginning, we talked about scaling, right? And it was just like, hey, Aaron, are you going to scale? And in my head, I'm like, no, F that. I'm not scaling. I'm going to do it. And like, that should be where my head is at. I didn't scale. I completed it and I did it in a good time. But sometimes, like, you know, and I don't know if this is for you all out there too, sometimes my brain just kind of like perseverates on that, like, oh, that last run pushed me out of my zone. And it's just like, okay, the last run pushed me out of my zone, but the next time we do this workout, I'm going to be cognizant of that. And I'm not going to fly out, and I'm going to keep that mental toughness all the way through, you know?
I say it often, but like focusing on the small wins, right? The small wins are the outcome of the large wins. And like, again, like to your point, like, yeah, you might not feel the bet, like that you did the greatest, but like 5 weeks ago, are you running a half mile in a workout, right? Like that's 800 meters that you just ran. That's half a mile. Are you able to do that? Like most people are like, I can't even run a mile in 15 minutes. Well, you just ran half a mile 3 times. So you ran a mile and a half, right? And then like whatever the scaling is, right? No matter what level you're at, maybe you're running a mile throughout the whole day. It doesn't matter, but that's a huge win in a small moment, right? And then like, again, going back to that fried chicken, like that was one negative he had.
Right.
But think about all the alternatives we've done. We went from sparkling ice to Spindrift, right? So we went from a flavored, little bit more sugar, colored water into something that's more basic, less things in there. All right. He went to Hummus Fit and he got a bunch of meals, which fun fact, I'm going to put this out there because Julie and Brian are probably going to watch. We have a discount code there.
Oh, nice.
So Babylon CrossFit gets a discount. So make sure you guys say it when you're there that you're part of Babylon CrossFit. I think you get like 10 or 15% off. We don't get anything from it. So. No. Thorn, we do. Buy the Thorn. That supports the small business.
Right.
But I think it's like continuing to help train your mindset. And I love that, you know, you have like the group on Sundays too. And like other people, I know you're working with other people too. Like you mentioned like
therapist.
No, and a business coach too. Or
coach? No, my accountability coach.
Your accountability coach, right? So,
shout out Mike Z.
Yeah, we have a lot of people. I think that we have the same mission for him. And we're going to try and share as much as Aaron's willing to share weekly. Absolutely. But like this week, we focused on what he's eating, how much he's eating. And again, yes, he had fried chicken, but I'm not mad at him. But it gives me homework this weekend as his coach that I'm going to find alternatives for him. So like the alternative that I challenged him with was like, can you have almond crusted chicken? Because he really enjoys the fried chicken. And I get that. But for temporary
we're
moment.
Get so many hits.
What? For about the fried chicken?
Fried chicken. No, but it's in like a good way. Listen, there is context to this. This is not just. This is not me trying to be funny. This is like my mother makes really good.
Right, now I feel like we got to show. I know, you're making me nervous.
No. I just, it's just one of those things. We're gonna totally get.
This was dinner. Okay. But again, positives, Hummus Fit. We're here. Positives, Spindrift, sausage and eggs. We're doing it, guys. We're doing it.
And you know what the crazy thing is? We really are. And like I said to Trish, I was like, I would really like to like really put this out there, not just to create content, right? Like that's not really like my goal, our goal. Like the goal is for me to stay like accountable and help others, right? Like, like that's where I derive my joy, right? So if I can talk about like my struggles and it inspires and empowers like somebody else, that for me is like the win. And I think that will keep me showing up for me, right? Like that is like that's like the big piece. So I that's where that's where we're at. And then I know, like I just think, me personally, I feel like people are awesome. I think the world is an awesome place. Like, yeah, we have like our moments where there's, not so great things that happen, but I think everybody's human nature at their core is like really, really good. Like that's just personally what I believe. And also I just don't want people to feel like how I felt. So like if I can show people that I can do it or I'm doing it and you're helping me do it, then you can do it too.
And then for me, as his coach, and again, I continue to remind him of this, the impact he's going to make in himself, he's going to inspire so many other kids and so many other people. And I really want you to lean into that as that inspiration, because I know that we have teens in this gym that are going through things that you went through as a kid. And I hope they watch this because, like, this is the hard stuff.
Yeah.
This is the hard stuff, the hard conversations. And I cry because I get so emotional that I've created this space that
Absolutely.
you feel this.
Oh
and I hope it encourages more of you to kind of like want to have these conversations with us, because it's like, this is what it's about. And this is how much Tommy and I care. Scott cares. OB cares. All of us. Jackie. Every one of us.
They're all mean coaches in a good way.
God, I can't believe I'm crying so much.
No, it's so good. No, but it's like, it's really, you're a mom.
Yeah.
And like, so like you see this like for your kids, and it's the same way. Like
and also it's personal with my brother, right? Seeing my brother struggle, like I have him, it's home very close to me.
Yep.
So I know what my brother struggled with. I've lived it.
Yep,
not personally, I'm like, but I've seen my brother have to come out, and it's not easy.
Nope.
And to not have that space, and then to also be bullied for other things, whether it's weight and all the other stuff. And it's just like, man, like if Babylon CrossFit's that safe space for everybody, then we're here for it.
But that's what it is, right? It's like shifting, and I do this like all the time. I remember even when I first came, I was like, oh my God, like I walk in. So like we do onboarding here, which is great. So like the onboarding was very personal and like one-to-one. And I got to experience 3 out of the 4 or 5 coaches, right?
Yep.
In the onboarding.
Please hold. CrossFit before and still completed onboarding, which says a lot about you as a person as well.
Oh yeah. No, I wanted that.
Yeah.
I wanted that too, because like even like with my CrossFit before and my coach before, like he like really worked with me on like a lot of form stuff because he didn't want me to be hurt. Like he's one of those like awesome like people, and I wanted to find that again. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I did find that here. So I wanted to make sure I took everything that he kind of instilled in me, even though like I kind of like slacked off. Sorry, buddy. See, and my brain naturally goes to the negative, right?
Yeah.
Right. I'm over here saying like how great of like core instruction he gave me and how I wanted to tap back into that. You see, and just that quickly, how quickly I just went back into the negative.
But it's the self-talk. Like you're
working, and I'm catching it.
Yeah.
Like
I do it all the time.
Usually I can't catch it this fast, but I wanted to make sure I got that here. And like, I was going to do that wherever I was going to go anyhow, because I wanted to make sure that the coaches knew, like, you know, my pronation of my feet, like they knew my ailments, and like, we can kind of work through that. So the onboarding was awesome. And that's when I started the notion of, I started out with Scott. Scott's a mean coach. then it graduated to Trish. Now it's Tommy. Tommy's the mean programmer and the mean coach. And when I say mean, they're not mean. They push me to a limit where I feel like I can't be pushed. And that was something that me and my previous coach really worked on, is like that mental toughness. So it's almost like they secretly all talk in the background and they knew that this was going to happen, or like there's some spiritual gods out there that's just like, you're going to go here, you're going to do this, and then you're going to wind up here, because this is going to propel you into, you know, your next step toward greatness.
And I'm going to end it on this, because one, Camilo, he owns CrossFit Strong Island, he transitioned out of his, so like, I will share this with Camilo, because I think it is so very inspiring in the sense of like, there's great CrossFit coaches out there, and then there's not the best, right? And Camilo is somebody who's really impacted the CrossFit community, and you only hear good things and clients that come out of him. Where was I going with this? I do this all the time.
You're a mom.
I know, but it's like really bad. I was told yesterday to stop doing this.
You were going to say Camilla's mean because Camilla was mean too. No, he was just one of those other people.
It was a really good point. Yeah, he's a great coach, but there's also the CrossFit coaches that aren't the best, right? And I think there's something to be said about having the proper. I don't know. I know I had a better point than this, and I can't find it. So we're not even going to go with it. But
it's all good.
We'll share this with Camilo. That way he can help send some text to my friend here to keep him accountable.
Text, he's going to beat me up verbally.
That's fine. We're here for it, Camilo. Thank you. I'll take all of the support. This is where I was going. He is moving in the summer, right?
Yes,
So one of the things him and I spoke about when he was going, he wants to continue CrossFit when he moves. And I was like, one of the things I want you to look at is don't worry about the Instagram following. Go on their websites and look at the coach education, right? Because CrossFit, when you think about it, if you guys are moving or if you ever do want to leave my affiliate, what I always tell people is look at the coach education and make sure that the affiliate owners continuing their education. They have other stuff. Their coaches have L2s or L3s. If they just have the L1, that means that the affiliate owner is not necessarily invested in them and they're stopping their education. And I think that's where someone like Camilo and I are so successful in this community. We've been here for 10 to 15 years at this point. We've worked with multiple clients and it's so much more than coaching, but, habit conversations, mental toughness conversations, nutrition conversations. And, again, it's just important. You got lucky with the right people and not everyone has that opportunity in CrossFit. And I think that's big.
And community too. To Camilo, to you, it's the inclusivity piece, right? So being able to walk into a 6 a.m. class and see people who are, in my terms, and this is a judgment, I'm recognizing this, but to see people in my terms who are jacked and in peak physical condition.
Do you think I'm jacked now?
Yeah, no, you're in very good. When I walk in and I see you, well, first you have on the Babylon CrossFit shirt, but when you're in your sports bra and your little shorts, I'm like, oh my God, she's fit, and you're like, oh, I just had a baby a few years ago, and I was just like, I didn't see it. Look, I'm going to the negative, but I'm like, I didn't have a baby, and I'm carrying this, you know what I'm saying? But to see that and not be intimidated by it, that's the point. It's just and in both spaces, I think that tone was set by the owners, right? Do you know what I mean? And that was intentional. It was intentional to create community, and I think for someone who hid, right, as a child, someone who hid or tried to hide, because I think my rainbow shines wherever. I could try as much as I want, but for someone who tried to hide to fit in, to just walk in and just be completely accepted in both spaces, it's absolutely amazing. And I think it speaks to CrossFit in general,
absolutely,
right? The tone that's set by CrossFit group fitness, if you will, in general. But specifically with the pair of you, I think, you guys are the type of people that I need to remind myself that, you're good enough, right? You're good enough as you are. Hey, if you don't want to change anything about your body, fine. You're still awesome. You're great. But if you say you want to change something about your body, be in integrity where your words and your actions line up. So this is a piece of me trying to help myself stay in integrity where I'm aligning my actions and my words.
So we'll be back next week with another update.
Maybe we'll have Tommy. Maybe he won't flat leave us.
Yeah, just doesn't show up to work. It's unbelievable. Well, have a great Friday. Wonderful job. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you for sharing. He's going to progress this weekend still, and then we're going to kind of catch up a little bit more, and we'll come back on another time. So, peace.